the obligation in the form of a property tax, i.e. like the Franklin Road that was passed in Marietta. This is a revenue bond which will be paid off from the revenue from this project, not from the taxpayers. Thank you very much.
The current stadium that the Braves use is only 17 years old. It's younger than our houses. The bonds are for 30 years.
Yes, that's for a good reason, because the MOU is for a 30-year contract with the Braves, that they are obligated by contract to stay at the stadium for 30 years, and if they do not, they will have to pay for a breach of contract. And also the Braves will have the ability to extend that contract for another 5 years. So that's 35 years, possibly 30 definitely, but 35 possibly to have the Braves at the stadium. Thank you very much.
Well, Joel Foster with Americans for Prosperity. I'll go on record and say we are opposed to this because we believe it's not the role of government to get involved in the private sector and purchase baseball stadiums for private. That being said, my question is kind of an extension on the last one. We talked about the bond issuance a little bit earlier and whether it would be, the existing bond would be shifted to cover the costs of this, I believe was what I understood. My question is, this bond, as we understand as taxpayers in Cobb, was set to expire in 2017. How does this not constitute an extension of that bond, which ultimately involves more tax dollars over time?
Thank you, Joel, and that is an excellent question. There will not be any shifting of funds presently up until 2017, and that is when this bond expires. When this bond expires, that 0.33 is a millage rate issue, which becomes a budgetary issue for the Board of Commissioners. So in 2017, when we discuss our budget, we will have to address the 0.33 mills in the form of a budget consideration, which normal procedure and by law, we will have to have 2 public hearings for our budget. So that's how it will be handled by law and administratively.
Okay. Just for point of clarification, though, at that point, the millage the increase or the current level of the millage rate would have gone away. It will have to be extended. So what would have been a tax cut at that point will constitute an extension of what we already have.
No, it is existing millage which the board addresses within the confines of a biennial budget, and that's how it will be addressed. Because legally it is a millage rate. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Appreciate this opportunity to ask my question. My name is Eric Hall. I reside outside the town limits of Kennesaw, and because of that, there's not any pickup for recyclables. And so my question is there any way that a feasibility study could be made if it's not costly or as to the utilization of the Cobb County firehouse or fire station number 26, which is just a few yards, it's just yards away from where I live, where that could be a drop-off point for recyclables. I called the Keep Cobb County Beautiful people and asked them where the nearest drop-off point, and they directed me to Ackworth at a firehouse in Ackworth, and that's just a far piece to go to drop off recyclables. Is that a question that, as far as
That's a fine question. This is a town hall meeting, and I'm going to put you in contact with Eddie Cannon back there, who oversees our solid waste department. Eddie, wave your hand back here. And if you would stop by and chat with Mr. Cannon, he could give you some information, and hopefully we can help you out.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity of being here. Thank you for being here. I'm Butch Thompson, a citizen of Westcom, have been there for a number of years. And I can honestly say that this is the best, the biggest news that's happened to Cobb County since lockdown. Have 33,000 people working for them. Economically, this cannot fail. I'm telling you folks, I've been here a long time, and I've seen a lot of things happen. But believe you me, timing is right.
Mr. Thompson, according to our ground rules
I
here.
understand, I don't have a question.
Okay, thank you very much. If you would like to, if that's your desire.
Please ask me a question.
Thank you so much. There will be 3 more town halls within the next 3 days, and you're welcome at all of them. Yes, sir.
First off, I'd like to say I admire your optimism about how well this project is going to turn out, especially with no economic studies done neutrally so far, in light of how the Gwinnett Braves AAA Stadium has done for Gwinnett County in the last 5 years. But my question is, under the MOU, Section 9 of the MOU has a capital maintenance fund that is to be split evenly between the Braves and Cobb County. What is the current estimate for what the total amount that capital maintenance fund will cost over the 30-year term?
It's my understanding that it's approximately $1.5 million per year for the capital maintenance fund.
Okay.
However, you have to realize that within the first 3 years, there will not be any capital maintenance, if not longer than that, which is an opportunity to take revenue and to put it in a special fund to address the capital maintenance.
Is there an upper limit on the cost of that capital maintenance fund?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, because in St. Louis, for instance, they had a similar deal, and St. Louis ended up being on the hook for, I believe, $700 million in repairs to their stadium.
You know, I don't know what their construction was like, who their project manager was, but we can assure you we will have the top notch and we won't be using cardboard within that stadium. So thank you very much.
You said there's no upper limit on the cost of the capital maintenance fund over 30 years.
Can you speak to that?
Sure. What we did is we looked at the more successful stadiums and some of the ones that haven't been. And it is a projected cost over the course of 30 years, about $60 million is what we anticipate. Now that 50-50 cost split for that probably won't even come into play for another 6 to 7 years, as Commissioner Gorham said, as we get ready for this and move forward. We will be accruing money towards that and have about a third of our responsibility for the entire third of our responsibility for the entire 30 years accrued within the first 10 years of the entire project. It is only responsible for those things that are part of the actual structure of the building. It's not, if the Braves decide to build a bigger and better fan complex or something, billboard out, that's their cost. We're just talking about if an escalator needs to be replaced or a cooler needs to be replaced. So we've looked at other
Or
states.
emergency needs, according to the,
Oh, yeah.
you know, if a tornado hits it, then you're on the hook.
I'm pretty sure if we got insurance, that kind of stuff. And I tell you what, if we get to a situation where we got a $700 million problem, whatever it is, this lady's going to be very busy.
Okay, so the maintenance fund, plus the stadium construction cost, plus infrastructure, plus interest, I presume, somewhere in this, all of that combined over 30 years, what is the total county liability?
It was $300 million up front with all the revenue sources we talked about, and $30 million with the other funds.
Okay, and nothing else in infrastructure or interest or anything else on top of that?
It's been specifically capped. The agreement is, and this is one of the few.
Is it capped in the memorandum?
Yeah.
Okay, which section?
I don't know.
Okay. One final question. She mentioned a second ago that the term of the Braves is for 30 years, and in section 4 of the MOU, it says that it is for 30 years. However, It is subject to termination as set forth herein in the stadium operating agreement. What does the stadium operating agreement allow for early termination?
The operating agreement hasn't been put together yet.
Okay. Then why are you voting to approve it if they have early termination right now?
Okay. Okay, never stand enough.
Do you usually vote to sign a contract before the contract has been fully written?
Let me explain. Do you fully sign all the paperwork for you closing your house before you sign the contract?
I read it. So.
When you close, when a person closes on a home and they sign their life away for about 2.5 hours, do they sign on that? Do they sign a contract before they sign the closing documents?
Okay, my point was, she said it's 30 years solid, and I'm pointing out they have early termination clause that hasn't been.
Oh, so do we.
I'm sorry?
So do we.
You did it.
Yeah, if they're not performing as per the terms of the agreement,
In which case you've already spent $300 million on stadium.
and we have legal options, not legal options, we have the legal right, and we have the mechanism in which to recover the cost of the bonds associated with building the stadium from the organization. That is in this MOU. It is not part of the operating agreement. Part of the operating agreement is to say, when we say we haven't done the operating agreement, it's okay, Braves, you are going to operate the stadium in this manner. You will open at 5, you will close at 6. You will employ this type of person. How it will operate on a day-to-day basis. Those things have not been determined. But what has been determined through the MOU is it's a responsibility for them to us and us to them to work under the terms of this MOU, that if we breach or they breach, we can terminate and recover what is due us by the agreement that wasn't delivered as a result of the MOU. It's part of that legal document. It's in the paperwork.
Finally, she said that the bond extension is going to be covered as from the taxes, the royalties. What if yes, the revenues bond. What if the revenues aren't enough to cover the bonds?
Okay. We projected, our forecasts are based on current values and current costs. We don't anticipate ever getting...
Not anticipate. In the contingency that then revenues fall short.
Come on.
That's what the question is. The question is
you
what
have
happens
about
when the
6
revenues fall
already.
short.
But the question, I'm trying to answer it, okay? So step away from the mic, let me answer it. All right? There's a cost associated with it. There's a projection associated with it. It is our professional opinion that as this moves forward, we are going to have enough money to cover the revenue associated with this bond. The same way, I'm confident when I take out a loan with my house, I'm going to have a revenue associated to pay the loan back. We made educated decisions, and that's it. Thank you for your question.
Hi there, thank you so much for having this meeting. I've got several concerns and then I'm going to finish with a question. The first concern that I have are the park bonds that will expire in 2017 and 2018. To extend that for 30 years is ludicrous. We need less taxes. People are hurting.
Okay. Thank you.
Another thing, Cobb County needs to keep its money, not fund a private
Thank you.
corporation. Taxing rental cars is not appropriate either because it's going to tax people whose cars are broken down.
Thank you.
We're not Atlanta. We don't have an airport that lands tourists here. I'm concerned also that it was done under the table like it was. That's very insulting. It's also going to cause total gridlock in the middle of town. I drive by that every day. And then my question is, can we get a referendum? We need a referendum. Thank you, sir.
Mason.
My name is Mason Zimmerman. I'm here on behalf of the town center.
No.
And I'm here on behalf of the town center area CID, and I apologize, Chairman Lee, but my question is for Helen Warren.
Yes, sir.
And before I get to my question, allow me to make a statement or two because there is some questions about CID, so if I could, just for a moment. And I'm here because our district is in your district, in the town center area. And we are a group of commercial property owners who tax ourselves to put money back into our district. And we've had a good working relationship with you now in the commission for quite a number of years. I think it's important to point out some of the projects that we've done together. The Big Shanty Road, the Skip Spanning Connector, which you pointed out, Noonday Creek Trail. All of those projects were public-private ventures which were seeded by town center area dollars. We have an alignment in goals, which is job creation, economic development, quality of life initiatives. I raise all those points to say I wonder, as you look at your experience with us in the town center area and the public-private ventures and the way those will work together, and you think about what is being proposed down at Cumberland and the ways in which the Cumberland CID can work with the county to do similar things, be it road improvements, infrastructure, things that the county couldn't do alone and that private industry couldn't do, but the CID can play an intermediary role, matching public-private dollars, using companies' dollars, not individual taxpayer dollars. I wonder if you could, if you see similarities between the ways we've operated up here in your district and the way perhaps the Cumberland CID will operate with respect to the Braves. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. And I have to share with the audience that the Cumberland CID was in existence before the Town Center CID. And I believe the Town Center CID has learned a lot and has grown by the achievements of, looking at the achievements of the Cumberland CID. And in its own right, the Town Center CID has acted in a manner in which it shows its ability to assist in projects such as roadway projects and quality of life projects. And I have no doubt that the CID as a vehicle for this proposal, as one of the players, is going to have much success in bringing forward what is needed in the area. Thank you very much for your question.
Commissioner, my name is Dan Stein, and I'm a resident of unincorporated Cobb County, and I lead a business that's located in the Cumberland CID, the Cumberland Community Improvement District. Our business is actually excited that the Braves are coming into the Cumberland CID, and we're excited. We actually think that the extra fees that we're going to pay to the Cumberland CID are actually going to be an investment that makes more money for our company over time than we would have been able to do if we didn't have that opportunity for that investment. And I thank the people that we elect who are in this room to help make that decision in the last few weeks. Likewise, my family, my wife Sarah and I, with the money that we make in our house, we save some and we actually invest it. And the reason that we do that is that we want to have a brighter future. I am very excited that our county is actually doing some of that itself, investing money into this project. And I was wondering if you could tell us, and maybe tell some of the other people in this room, what are some of the returns that you hope to get for our county from the investment that you all are making in this project?
Thank you for the question. Number one, and we're going to see, which will be very evident, is an increase in job opportunities for the area. With the recession, we know that jobs are just not as plentiful. So we'll see that from, I believe, day one when they start moving dirt and have to move some utilities in that area. Number two is the revenue that's going to be generated to assist our school systems. And the school system has an opportunity here to reap the benefits from this proposal without making any contributions, without having to invest. And as we know, there are very few revenue-generating opportunities for the school system presently. We're going to see a boom in the tourist industry, which I believe has a $2.9 billion effect right now annually here in Cobb County. And can you imagine? I mean, you can come to Cobb, or you could stay in Atlanta and experience all the attractions in Atlanta, and then come to Cobb and see a Braves game, and then have a meal in the restaurant. We're going to see sales tax revenue increase exponentially, and that will assist us with the education SPLOST, and will assist us with our Cobb County SPLOST, which provides for our public safety right now, provides for our parks and recs. So the return on investment, in my opinion, is going to be substantial and beneficial not only to Cobb County but to the region.